What's good? What's good? So I'm gonna talk about my experience as a substitute teacher. So I've subbed for high school, I've subbed for middle school, junior high, and elementary. So I've subbed for at almost every level, and I could tell you the differences, the pros and the cons of each one. So with elementary, so from my experience, the elementary kids, man, super energized. From 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., they're going to be on 10. And believe it or not, by the time it's 3 or 4 o'clock, they're going to have more energy than when it's 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? The thing I like about them is a lot of kids, especially younger kids, they don't hide how they feel. They don't hide their thoughts, none of that. So it's like an open book. That could be a good thing or bad thing. So they could be crying for no apparent reason because they feel a certain type of way. So you got to deal with that. But at the same time, if they like you, they're going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to feel it. And that's one thing that I like. I also like that there are longer periods. So if you are teaching, you know, then you have time to really teach them something of value. You have an hour and a half before they switch to another subject. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that those are some things that I really like about elementary. Like I said, highly energized. So they're gonna be talking a lot. A lot of them don't have volume control. So they're gonna be talking loud and it could be disruptive. So you have to set boundaries up, almost immediately. Not too hard because, if it's too many boundaries, kids aren't going to keep up. A lot of kids aren't going to keep up with all the boundaries that you set up. It just got to be simple, and you have to. You just have to. Really, it's an experience thing. You have to go through the experience and see how they relate to you and how they react to your mannerisms and things of that nature, and you adjust accordingly. So junior high is kind of different because it's like a mixture. It's like a mixture between high school and elementary. You feel me? It's that they're 11, they're 12, 13 years old. They're going through puberty, so they can be going through like a identity crisis a little bit, trying to really see how they fit into the world. This is when, unlike elementary, where a lot of kids, what I'm saying, regardless of background and race and things of this nature, shoot, at elementary, almost every kid can hang out with each other. Now you gonna get some beef, but you know it's more likely that they'll hang out with somebody that you wouldn't think they'll hang out with. Once they get to middle school, junior high, things of that nature, that's when they become a lot more cliquish. So they're gonna find, certain groups to hang out with and other groups they wouldn't even touch. You know what I'm saying? That's when that usually starts from my experience. Again, boundaries are important. Um, it's a wild card age. You don't know what you're gonna get. So you really have to be comfortable with yourself, and hopefully the teacher gives you some classroom, uh, some notes and some classroom rules that they know they should abide by, and now you know they should abide by. Once you get to high school, what I'm saying, physically, what I'm saying, some of these kids are huge in things of this nature. You feel me? But there's a lot of them are still finding themselves. They're still mentally growing. In my opinion, you have to treat them almost like an adult, you know. And the reason I say this is because once you get out of high school, they're integrating into adulthood. So you have to teach them and really guide them on how to, act once they get, you know, into a college setting or a professional setting. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them are there because we're living in an age where, they're looking at the same content that we're looking at. Whether that's TV or social media with Instagram, Facebook, and all of these platforms that's out now, they're looking at the same things that we're looking at. You know what I'm saying? They're responding to the same things that we're responding to. So in some ways, you have to respect that and understand that they know, certain things that we might have not known at our age because we didn't have these platforms that's out now spilling certain content that is kind of adultish. You know what I'm saying? From my experience, high school is a little more standoffish because, like I said, people, they're really into their cliques now. They're really into their groups. They're a lot more biased as far as their thought process and what is and what isn't. So it could be harder to connect with them because they might be, even at 16, 15 years old, set in their ways. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know if they like you or not sometimes. Um, it's a wild card. But in my experience, they're a lot more manageable because in the classroom, if you're in the right classroom now, if in the classroom, some of them are not going to be as talkative. They might be into their phone, so you have to, manage that. Or you got the loners. You got those who talk, but they may whisper to their friends because they don't want another person in the class listening to what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's just different aspects um, to each grade level. But all of them, offer certain advantages and disadvantages. And another thing about high school, in my opinion, at least the one that I've been to, the class periods are they're too short. 45 minutes isn't enough time to learn algebra for the average kid. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're advanced, you can learn it pretty fast. But there's a lot of kids that they can't learn algebra in 45 minutes or that concept in 45 minutes, especially if they're going to the restroom for 10 of those minutes. And then the other 10 is spent, you know, trying to get them to actually do their work or pay attention or stop being on the phone. Like, it's a lot of distractions with that. So a lot of them aren't learning at the rate that they're supposed to learn. They're just getting by. So, really, look out for that. Be aware of that. And if you have a plan to change it, then implement that plan.